All right. Hello, hello, GM, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Juliana. How are you?
Hi, Harish. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Okay, awesome. Let's dive right into it. For everybody joining us today, I think we have about 250 people joining in on all our channels or more. What we're going to do today is really fun. I am Harish. I lead DevRel at Gaia, and we have Juliana from the DevRel team at NodeOps. We are going to today show you, basically walk you through how you could potentially launch AI agents on NodeOps using Gaia. Right? Without further ado, thank you so much for waiting for us to start this. I'll quickly hand it over to Juliana to do a quick intro of who she is, what NodeOps is, and then we'll get into the stream.
Thank you, Harish. So stop me if you don't. My name is Juliana, and I'm DevRel at NodeOps. And NodeOps is a deep in orchestration layer. And it's a really cool platform where you can provide compute as well as use it. So today we're going to be demonstrating deploying a Gaia node, as well as like interacting with it via an API key, via script. So it's going to be super easy, very quick, and I'm excited to show you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's dive right into it. Let me quickly share my screen and let's get started. All right. Let's see if you're able to see this. Yes. Okay. You should be able to see my screen now. Awesome. We are on the Twitter chat.
Yes, I can.
NodeOps. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so the NodeOps team launched a Gaia template that you can quickly use to launch a Gaia node. There are multiple ways you can launch a Gaia node. I'll tell you what a Gaia node is to give you a very basic understanding of what Gaia is and why you should probably use Gaia if you're building AI agents. Gaia is an open source framework that lets you build, launch, scale, and deploy your own AI agents with customized knowledge base. Now, what that means is essentially, I'll give you an example. If I want my AI agent to write code like me, I could have that trained on my code base from GitHub, and then it'll start writing code like me. That's essentially what we mean by your expertise, your knowledge base, your style, essentially, right? And when you launch a Gaia node, what you get with it is a chat UI that you can chat with, and also an OpenAI compatible API, which means you could immediately use the API to build applications on top of it. Or if you're already using ChatGPT as a API platform for any apps that you're building, you could replace that with your Gaia node. The idea is very simple. You own your data, and Gaia helps you get back ownership of your data, and your data never leaves your node. And where is the node running? It is running wherever you deploy that you own, potentially on NodeOps, or if you prefer a cloud platform, on a cloud platform, or even on your local computer. It can be a laptop, it can be a uh, M4, or it can be even a Raspberry Pi. Right? We had a community member who ran Gaia node on a Raspberry Pi. So you now you can see the scale of where you can deploy a Gaia node from edge devices to cloud. You could use any of these platforms. And today we are going to show you how you could use either the template way of using a no code way to launch a Gaia node on NodeOps, or we'll also quickly show you a glimpse of how you can use or essentially rent a machine on NodeOps and then run the few commands that Gaia needs for you to launch a AI agent on NodeOps. Along with that, we'll also quickly show you some examples from our cookbook, like Juliana mentioned, where you could use the Node API URL and build applications. Right? Okay. With that quick intro, let's quickly see what a Gaia node is, or what do you get when you launch a Gaia node. The architecture is very simple. All this is what you get with the Gaia node. Let me zoom in a little so you can see this better. What a Gaia node has is an LLM. So you have the choice of picking any LLM, any open source LLM in the GGUF format from Hugging Face, and bring it and build your own AI agent on top of it, which gives you full control of how your user wants to engage with the AI agent, or how you want the AI agent to behave. If you want the AI agent to generate code, we would recommend you use a code generation LLM. Similarly, RAG is a way to retrieve information from the knowledge base that you attach to it. Knowledge base can come in different formats: PDF, CSV, text. You basically convert them into an embedding and store it in the quadrant vector database. We have tutorials for all of these on our docs. But yeah, very high level, you attach a knowledge base, you pick your own LLM, and then you have an AI agent that you can chat with. Like I said, you can run it on any CPU, any GPU, even a Raspberry Pi, right? All of this is powered by Wasm Edge, which is a framework that lets us deploy LLMs on edge devices, which are our consumer devices like mobile phones and so on, right? Okay, now with that very high level architecture overview of what Gaia is, let's jump right into it. Uh, if you're familiar with the NodeOps platform, once you log in with your account, what you will see is something like this, right? An empty space, right? What you should do is go to template marketplace on the left side. Juliana, feel free to interrupt me and share any other tips that you may have as I go through deploying a node using the template approach, right? Okay, so you click deploy template, you get few options, right? There is RTX 3090, you have the pricing here, or RTX 5090. You have these three options and also these three LLMs as a choice. You can pick between any of these and then click on next. I'm going to go with $69 per week option here and click next, and then top up your wallet with the required credits and then use and deploy. Now what they should do is we should go to deployment screen and we should have the node URL ready whenever it is completed deployment, right? Okay, let's go into the deployment, and this is where you should see the node URL show up. Now, along with being able to run a node, what you can also do is once you are done setting up a node and you have the node URL ready, once this is done, what you get is this information, right? You have the node ID and the device ID. You can attach this as your as a node operator in the settings page on our platform, and this is where you earn rewards for contributing inference, right? That's the whole idea around why you should launch node, right? The more throughput people consume from your AI inference, the more rewards you will get, essentially, in the form of Gaia token. Okay, while we wait for this to finish, Julian, anything you want to add?
I think you're doing great. But see, like, I'll just add that, like, that was super simple. The next step is just to wait. You do the very hard step of waiting. This node takes about sped up, and
Right.
depending on the size, yeah, just about 10 minutes. And I want to point out while we're on this page that immediately, as soon as it was spun up, you have a device ID and a node ID. Now, these two pieces of information are crucial because what you're going to do once you get to the Gaia interface, the page you showed before, is you're going to carry these values over to. So in about 10 minutes when this is up and you can check the work logs, you see the work logs down below, it's empty. In 10 minutes, that will be live. And then those values, you go to the next page, and then bada bing, bada boom, you are connected. And then you can start using, interacting with your node, as well as, like, earning rewards. So yeah, I just want to point out how easy it is. And that's
Yeah,
all it
it's
is.
too quick, right? Now, what would you do if you were not aware of NodeOps as a platform, right? I'll show you what a typical
Alternatively,
journey would be.
yes,
Is yeah.
please show.
While this is happening, since we have time, what we'll do is let's see what a typical journey would be if you were to deploy this on your own, right? First step is to go to docs.ganet.ai, where our docs is go to set up your own node, and then follow these three commands, right? The first one is to install the CLI. You would run this on a terminal. If you are using Windows, you would potentially have to install WSL first, Windows subsystem for Linux, and then run this inside your Linux environment, and then run the Gainet init command, and then you will have the Llama 3.2 default model that gets downloaded. And then when you start Gainet start as a command, you run this as a third last step in your terminal, you will get the node URL. This is a node URL that you will get. But what NodeOps is simplifying for us is all of this complexity, right? By default, you pick a model, you pick a machine that you want to run it on, you pay, and in 10 minutes, you should have the node ID and the URL for you to chat with ready. Now, while we're waiting for this, what would you do, right? After you launch the node, right? There are two steps. If you're a developer and you want to build AI applications using the node API. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, are you still able to hear me very well? Maybe a thumbs up in the chat can help if you're able to still hear me well. Okay, okay, cool, awesome, thank you. Right, so um, yeah, what I was saying is, okay, the first step is obviously to launch a node. a node, like I said, comes with an LLM, has the knowledge base attached to it, and you are now able to build applications on top of this LLM, right? Along with that, if you just want to contribute inference, you are not a developer, you don't care about building applications and all of that, you want rewards, right, for contributing inference to the Gaia network, right? Today, I think Gaia network has about, let's say, how many nodes we have. I'll give you a larger picture of how many nodes were launched in total. Yeah, there are 710K nodes were launched so far, and we have about 26 trillion in throughput. So you will be contributing inference back to the same network again, right? So you will get rewards for doing so in Gaia token. Now, how will you get rewards? All you need is, like you can see, these two are the key pieces of information that you will need for you to attach your node, saying, look, I am Harish and this is the node that I'm running, and I want to attach this to the Gaia network so that I can start earning rewards, right? So let's see where to use this information to attach this to my profile. Now you go to simple gaianet.ai as the platform. On the top you will see connect. This is where you connect your wallet. I quickly connect my wallet, and once you have your wallet connected, you can go to settings, and under settings, let's go back to those. Okay, let's sign. Let's go back to our settings, and here, this is where you go to nodes, and this is where you attach your nodes. Now there are two ways to do this. You can attach your node, and you can attach your node to a specific domain. Now, what are domains? Domains are multiple nodes combined together, and domains are a way to scale your nodes. We have a quick question asking, what about PowerShell? Right? PowerShell, you will still need uh, WSL because we are not Windows compatible yet, right? So you will still need to install WSL first. So once you have this information, all you have to do is click on connect new node, node ID and device ID you get from the NodeOps cloud. From here, just copy them, go back here and attach them. That's it. Boom, you're ready. You're done. That's all. You don't need to do anything extra. Right, Juliana, all good on your end? Able to hear me now?
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. Right, so that's how you attach your node that you just launched in under 10 minutes from the NodeOps dashboard onto the network itself. Now, let's see the reward summary. This is where you have to shift to base as the chain, and that's it. This is where you can do a bunch of tasks, and also your node points are calculated here for your node that is contributing inference, right? Looks like our node is ready. Let's refresh this and see, check quickly. All right,
Mm.
that's it. We have our node ready. Like I said, in the workload logs, or like Juliana mentioned, the first step is that this is doing. If you're technical and want to understand a little technicalities of how this is happening, since I am technical, I love talking about this. The first step is, like I said, it installs the CLI and gives you a node ID, right? Once you do that, it downloads the default model. In our case, we selected Qwen 2.0, Qwen 2, sorry, Qwen 2.5 billion parameter model as the model. So you can see that the model is now downloaded. Now, once this is done, Ganet start command is run. Like it said, run the start command. It is automatically run because we are using NodeOps, right? We're not doing anything manually. Once that is done, at the end of this is where the joy is for us as developers and builders and node operators. This is where we see the node URL, right? That's it. That's all you need now to be able to run your own AI inference using NodeOps and Gaia. Now let's quickly attach this node so that I can get some rewards, right? I'll show you how you can get rewards. Let me copy the node ID first. I'll go back to danet.ai/settings/nodes. Now, where is this link from? Very simple. It is right here. You click on this link, connect your wallet, and you paste your node ID here. Go back to NodeOps Cloud, copy the device ID. These two are very important. Come back here, paste it here, and join. Right? Sign the transaction on whichever wallet, and that's it. Your domain is now contributing inference. right? These are some agents that you can chat with that we have built as examples. But if you go back to your nodes, this is where you will see that your agent that we just pasted here, let's look for it since I have many nodes. I should have picked a new wallet. Apologies. Like you see, that's it. This is now attached in green. It is live. That means we can now start chatting with it. Now, how will you chat with it? Very simple. Like you said, every node comes with a chat UI. Very simple, right? You open the chat UI, open the node URL. These are all the details about the node, right? And here you can see which model it is running, right? And then you click on chat with this node, and that should open up the chat with the node. That's all. That's how simple it is. Now you can click on start chatting with it. That's all you need to be able to contribute inference back to the Gaia network using NodeOps and launch your own agents essentially using the templates, right? Now, where is the API? API is right here. OpenAI compatible API, which means you can replace your default OpenAI based URLs with your node URL, which is this. This will become now your endpoint. Now, how will you use this, right? What are some ways or some applications that you can use to build on top of this, right? That's where the Gaia cookbook comes into play. What is a cookbook? We have about 45 or more examples on our cookbook. I'm going to paste the link for this in the chat so that you can take a look at it later. Right, and here we have two types of examples. One is Python, and then we also have JavaScript or TypeScript based examples. We have examples for X402 protocol where you could potentially now use this example and build an application where people will pay you to consume inference or talk to your node. That way, you're quickly earning money, not waiting for token rewards or anything like that for the future. But this example is where you can simply clone this repo if you're a developer. If you're familiar with this process, just clone this repo and then attach your node ID, node URL, and done. Now you have an application ready where people have to pay in USDC on crypto, and then you will receive it on your wallet directly for them to be able to chat with your node. You can always use this repo as an example and build applications or make this more complex, saying, okay, if I want the node to respond only one prompt or one word as a response, you can always do that by customizing the system prompt, saying reply to me always in one word. And you can have, let's say, 0.01 USDC for that. And then if you want the user to get a lengthy response in multiple paragraphs, you can charge higher, right? That's an idea that you can build using this example. Now let's go back and pick maybe one of the frameworks that we have, and see how you could now use it, right? OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, all of them have an agentic framework that you can use to build applications on top of the AI inference, because Gaia is your inference layer, and you can use the inference layer to now attach it to a framework. You can also use Gaia as the inference layer with Eliza OS, which is also one of the popular frameworks. But in this case, we'll use the OpenAI agents SDK example. We have two files here. I'll quickly clone this repo. Like you can see, you will need a node to be able to use this, right? So let's clone this repo and then see how you can run this specific example using the OpenAI agents SDK, right? Now you can also build multi-agentic experiences on top of this. So that's all covered for you. We have multiple examples covering all the frameworks that are available. So let me stop sharing quickly and share my screen so that you can see the terminal where we are building this application, right? Juliana, did I miss anything? Did you want to add anything while I stop sharing and come back to this?
I think you're doing great. We do have one
Okay.
question in the stream, and someone asked, what about PowerShell? Can it work? The answer is yes. And one thing I want to point out in the screen that you kind of breezed over was that there was a curl command. You can absolutely use the curl in any kind of terminal, and you can interact with your node there. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, for if you're using PowerShell in Windows, you will still need to use WSL first. You should have a Windows subsystem for Linux first, and then you can use PowerShell to interact with your Gaia node or install the Gaia node and all of that. You can still run curl commands. If you already launched a node with
Yeah.
NodeOps, you can use the curl commands directly and chat with your node using the curl commands in your PowerShell. That doesn't require a WSL. But if you're running your own node or want to run your own node, you will still need PowerShell.
Yeah, definitely tricky with Windows builds.
Yep. Okay, we have one more question. Yeah, let's take this question before I jump back into how to use the node. Yes, there are two options: create a blank Gaia node for others to host models, or to create a specific node with custom knowledge, etc. The approach for this, or the way you should think about this, is very straightforward, right? If you're in this to earn some rewards, right, and contribute inference to the network, very straightforward use case where we call all our community members who are contributing inference as node operators. You have to do is what I did with the NodeOps platform, where we use the template that launches a very specific model. What you can do is, let me share my screen where you can see which models are popular. Usually, the latest models are popular. So you pick the model and launch it and contribute inference for us, for others to be able to utilize this inference. Others are not able to host any model by themselves or change the knowledge base of the node. You are still in control of the node, irrespective of that. Others are only able to call this node that you launched and use that to build applications. So they are not able to alter or change anything on the node itself. Now, coming to creating a specific node with custom knowledge, etc., I think that approach you will need when you're building a very niche use case based AI agent. Like I said, if Harish wants a coding assistant that will help him write code in his style, right, or write documentation in his style, he has to create a knowledge base with his code base from GitHub or wherever he stores code, and then launches his own agent that he can then use either in Cursor or VS Code or any other platform, right? Warp, any platform that he uses, he can use the Gaia node as the AI inference layer to be able to consume inference from it so that it writes like him, right? So that's one example. The other ways, the other types of examples is, let's say I want to build an AI agent specifically that trades like me. I could then attach a knowledge base of my risk appetite and what are my typical trading strategies that I follow, right? And then create launch a node, and now that agent can potentially trade on my behalf, right? Depending on what controls I give it, how much money I give it to trade with, etc. Those are some examples of how you should think about which option to pick, right? If you want to just contribute inference using the template, you could do that. Yes, we have a follow up question. I like this question. Real talk: would you trust an AI agent to manage your crypto portfolio? Honestly speaking, maybe not today with my entire money that I have. But what I love doing and what we've tried in the past also is to give a specific sum to the agent, let's say 100 USDC or USDT or whichever crypto you want to trade with, and see how the agent behaves, right? And have human in the loop interactions so that you get more control over what the agent is doing in terms of going and trading and what decisions it is taking. The more you interact with it, the better it becomes, and then you can have an autonomous agent do everything on your behalf, right? That's the approach ideally. But if you're wanting to try to use an AI agent that somebody else has built today, I would say don't trust it 100%. Just give it some money that you are okay losing, just in case, right? And then see how it behaves. One of the examples that I can give you is, it's been a year since we did this, but we did a autonomous hackathon last year in November, where we had three agents, right? We built an organizer agent, which is trained on all our partner docs who were partnered for the hackathon. And then there is a judge agent which judged all the projects that were submitted for the hackathon, fully on chain using Jokerace as the platform to submit. And then it went through the GitHub repos and gave a score. And now these scores were used by the bounty payments agent built by Coinbase, where we distributed about, I think, if I'm not wrong, about 40K USDC entirely by the agent, right? So all of these are possible today, but you have to try it, burn your hands a little first, and then see what is right for you, right? I can tell you everything works today, but I wouldn't do it, right? So just use it cautiously, play around with it. The more you experiment, the more you learn. Okay, now back to our Demo, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Juliana.
Let me add to that real quick. Is that like you only put in as much as you're willing to risk? And the funny thing with AI is that there is a thought process, and sometimes it's got its own reasoning. You know, each LLM is a little bit different, and you can actually read how it makes its decisions as it does its trade. So you can absolutely monitor it, tweak it, but I 100% would not trust my entire portfolio. But you can try.
Yep. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
good
go back
points.
to launching our agent with one of the examples that we saw. We were using OpenAI's agents SDK. So I'm going to copy my repo, our repo here. Sorry, let's go back to Gaia book. This is the repo. Let's clone this. Okay, I have a I have a specific folder that I usually go into. Let me zoom in a little here so you all can see better. Let's clone this repo. Oh, okay. Let's come out. Let's clone it here. Once it is cloned, essentially all you get is all the examples that are already part of it. But we picked the Python example where we have the OpenAI agents SDK folder. This is the quick video where you can see how it works, how to run it, and so on. Once the cloning is done, go into the Gaia cookbook and then Python folder, right? And then OpenAI agents SDK folder, and let's open up our code editor for today. Since there are so many options with code editors, I'm using Coder by Quen, right? This one is currently, I believe, it's on free plan, so you're free to use the LLM and the AI agent that comes with it. So give it a shot. If you're using VS Code or Cursor, the process is same, nothing changes, right? So like I said, this has two examples. One is a simple agent that you can chat with, right? Here are the instructions for the agent. Let me bootstrap this so that you can see better, right? This is saying you're a helpful AI agent running on Gaia's decentralized network. If you're building something very niche or very specific, you could always customize this, right? This system prompt is essentially your key to behavior of your agent, right? So you make sure you customize the prompt in a way that you want your agent to behave, right? We leave it like this just for the sake of this demo. We'll go back to our NodeOps cloud and copy our node URL. Let's open our node URL once again here so that we can get the model names and so on corrected. Okay, yes, this is the model that we have, right? Just copy the model name from here and come back here, and then believe we have to create two. Yes, it's right here, right? Okay, paste the URL here. Oh, sorry, I copied the model name. Paste the model name here, right? And then copy to the node URL. This is the node URL for your API base. Copy it, paste it here. Since this is the node that I own, you don't need an API key, just have Gaia as your API key. Now when will you need API keys? This is very important for all of you to understand. If you're running your own node or using somebody else's node in this specific format, you don't need API keys to consume inference. But on Gaia, if you're using some of our existing agents, right, from here, if you want to use one of these agents, you will need an API key. That's the only primary difference, right? You will need an API key. Now where will you get an API key from? Very simple. You go to your account, go to settings, and then here you have API keys. Create a new API key, right? That's all. That's the only process that you need if you are building something with a node or a domain that is existing on the network. Okay, so once you customize this and save this, all you have to do is run Python space basic example dot py. Let's do that right here. I'm going to clear this so you can see this better. I'm going to say Python basic example.py. And this essentially is calling our Gaia node. Like you can see, you can also set it up while you're doing this. Let's ask one question. 3 words, 4 words. Okay. I know the system prompt is very relevant to the node, but like you can see, responded saying life is a continuous quest for knowledge, adventure, and connection. All of this using the node URL that we launched
Amazing.
using NodeOps. Yeah, Juliana. Sorry.
It's super awesome. This is really cool that you're interacting with our infrastructure right now, and you're freshly deployed Node. I also want to add here that in that screen there is a bunch of other agents and domain URLs that you can use, and it's super fun. You can absolutely leverage the same API key you generated, the same compute with a different agent. So I was wondering if you could demonstrate, like maybe using the Twitter domain URL and generate a nice
Oh,
tweet.
okay. Nice. Okay. Where was this? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Let's go back to our agents. This one. Yeah. Twitter writing agent, I think. Yes. Tweet writer. Best part is you can use it through the interface itself. Or if you're a fan of using it in your application, all you have to do is click on the API tutorial at the bottom left
You can,
and use this. Right.
and all you can do, you can also just copy this URL, paste it into the cookbook, and then run it from there as
Yeah.
well and chat from your
Correct. That's
super
right.
simple.
So if
Yeah.
you want to use the cookbook, what you would do is copy this URL until slash v1, go back to your code and change it here, right? And then attach the API key that you generate, right? Let's use the web UI for this example. I'll say, okay, write me an X thread about Deepin. Let's see what it says. Okay. Let's see. Let's fix this. So now that you all saw the error, that means there are two ways to create an API key, right? If you want to just contribute inference, this part is irrelevant. You can skip this. But if you're a builder who wants to consume inference, the error that you saw here, let me show it back to you again so that you understand this well. It says domain restricted. Domain is not allowed for free trial developer. Now, Gaia as a platform offers something called as public Gaia domains, which means Gaia as a platform runs domains that you could use just purely to build applications, right? This is not about you being able to launch a node or anything like that. You can just consume this URL here, right? Paste it in a cookbook example or an app that you're building. And for that, you will need a free developer trial account, right? Where will you get this from? This is where you get it from, right? If you click this, you get a developer free trial, which I already have now, right? So this API key is not going to work if you're using some of our agents on the network, like the tweet writer agent. For that, you will need to create a different account. I'm going to select a different account, right? And then sign this now, right? I'm not on developer free trial, right? So I'll create a new API key, or I can actually go back to the agent itself now, since I have a different account, and chat with it and ask it to write a tweet about decentralized AI, and now this should work, right? Now you can simply copy this. Now what you can do with this, very simple. If you're building applications, you can have multiple agents in your application. One is a tweet writer, one is a translator. We have a Korean translator agent on our platform that you could use for it to translate English to Korean, right? The use cases are endless. We also have Llama Coder, which can write code for you, right? And real time. Very similar to what you see on Claude artifacts. This is also a similar one, but this uses Qwen 3, 8 billion parameter model. But anyways, going back to the story is very simple. You attach your node URL here. Now let's also see very quickly the tool calling example. Now, if you're a developer, you have to understand tool calling, right? By default, LLMs only respond with the information they are trained on and the knowledge base that you provide them with on the node, right? Now, if you want LLMs to get the most latest information from an API endpoint, like token price, right? Or weather. In this case, we are showing weather example, right? If you want agents to have real time information, you will have to do something called as tool calling. The latest iteration of that is called MCP, if you're familiar. If not, MCPs are a way to give your agent latest tools and APIs so that it can go fetch information in real time and respond back to the user. So, tool calling example is where we have a weather example where you can ask about weather for from a different city or country, and then it'll respond back to you with the forecast of the weather in that specific city or country that you asked. So that's the tool calling example. So the homework for all of you is, with your node that you launched on NodeOps today, try this out. And all you have to do is just run this example, replace your Gaia node URL here at line number 222, and then use your node URL here, and then just simply run it using Python space tool calling example.py, and you should have a weather agent working for you with the agent that you launched on NodeOps, right? That's how simple it is to be able to launch a Gaia node on NodeOps today. And let's see if we have any questions. Juliana, over to you if you want to share any more tricks on the platform that people should try out.
We also have a promotion going on. So if you're launching a Gaia node now, there is a pretty cute discount. So that's something that I think we should mention. Also, there's a question in the chat, which I really enjoy. Barak asked, how does the partnership between NodeOps HQ and Gaia create real value for developers beyond? And I love this question because that's what we're building here. We're building a platform for developers. So from NodeOps perspective, every developer needs compute, right? No matter what you're building, whether you're hosting AI or DeFi or you're a Web2 developer, you need compute. NodeOps comes in by providing compute, one, decentrally, and two, simply, with a simple click. As you can see with Gaia, we also have a suite of other templates, tools, and nodes that you can run with a simple click, just as easy as we did today. Um, and absolutely, we have a grant program for developers. I highly encourage you to apply to our grant program. We support you with your infrastructure needs, your development needs, whatever it may be. We love for you to join our community. So that's us from NodeOps.
Yeah, just adding on to what you mentioned, I think one is compute that is available in under 10 minutes for anybody to be able to use to run their own AI agents is one. Second is obviously the ease of use for anybody, let's say, who doesn't know how to code or run these terminal commands and figure out the terminal issues that may potentially end up seeing. This no code experience, I think, is a great way for them to also see what it is like to launch an AI agent and instantly be gratified with a chat interface that they can chat with the node and see how it responds, right? I think that's the other value add. The third is obviously I can now potentially launch multiple nodes, right? If I'm a developer and I launched one node on my machine, but my machine is now restricted to just one node, now I have the opportunity to launch multiple nodes using NodeOps as a platform, and then build a multi-agentic system if I'm building one such thing like that, or just purely contribute inference back to the network, see which are some of the popular models and contribute inference to models that don't have much a lot number of nodes basically contributing inference there. But yeah, the idea is very simple. How quickly can we get users up and running with their own node? Very simple. That's how we make this simple. I think huge shout out to NodeOps team, everybody, including Juliana, and also people in the backend responding right now in the chat for creating something like this. This is a great way for you to experiment with a new tool, see if it is relevant for you, and then utilize that. Right? If Gaia is a framework for you that impresses you through this experience, now we have you covered with more examples that you can use to potentially build applications, right? So yeah, that's how I would go about it if I'm a developer talking from a non-Gaia, non-NodeOps perspective. That's a simple
Mm,
experiment for me to be able to.
yeah.
All developers is need to see is an output, right? No errors, just an output that they can chat with, right? That's the joy we need at the end of the day. And I think NodeOps is giving us today that. That's how I would start about exploring and going about building AI agents by myself. Otherwise you will have to
Yeah.
down into the deep trenches of figuring out what are the frameworks, what is observability, what is LLMs, what is ML, and all of that. All of that is abstracted away here. All you need is a chat interface that you can chat with. If you are somebody who's technical enough, then you can use the API.
I would also add that because NodeOps is a decentralized infrastructure, you're now deploying on a risk-free, no point of failure infrastructure because it's constant uptime, no point of failure. You're already leveraging the decentralized nature of like DeepIn infra. So as developer, you have that like security, rather down, you're on this mesh network. As somebody who is wants to be a part of the DeepIn infrastructure, who's not a developer, you can also provide compute. If you have excess CPU or GPU, you earn rewards by opening up that space and providing compute to the DeepIn network. Yeah, lots of place space there.
Absolutely. I think yeah, we've pretty much covered everything. If you have any further questions, maybe we'll take like a minute to wait and see if you have any questions. Otherwise, I think we are super good on our end. Let me quickly share the QR that you can scan to see where you can get the Gaia template on NodeOps from. And once you scan that, I'll also show you. You can also follow our Twitter handles that are scrolling on the screen since the beginning of time, right? And yeah, we have a question: what is the current level of demand for inference on the Gaia network? What are the most popular models, etc.? I think uh, like you saw, we have about 26 trillion throughput, and I can tell you this is only for people who are joining today. I can only tell you that we are only able to handle 10% of the inference that is coming to the network. So there is a lot of demand already in place for you to be able to contribute inference. Most popular models still continue to be Llama 3.2, which is like the easiest one to deploy. And then I would say the second one that I would pick is Quen 3 4 billion parameter model, which essentially can run on a 16 GB Mac. Climbot says super fun. Thank you, Climbot. All right. If you're done scanning the QR, I have one more quick QR for you. If you are a builder, if you're interested in building AI agents, we have a very close group of Telegram builders chat where you can join in. We can help you with building AI agents using Gaia and NodeOps as well as the platform. Like Juliana mentioned, there are credits. So yes, look forward to that tweet whenever it comes out. And credits play a significant role. Like you saw, shout out to the NodeOps team again. They gave me credits to be able to run this. So credits always help for you to get started. Awesome. I think that's all. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Shout out to the NodeOps team. Juliana, thank you so much. Any final words before we end the stream?
Yeah, thank you so much for showing our platform. I mean, we welcome all developers with open arms and support you. So please feel free to join ours as well. We have a really cool developer community and lots of resources.
Yes. Thank you so much, Juliana.
Well, we all just want to build cool
Yes,
things.
absolutely. Definitely check out NodeOps. The QR code is right on the screen somewhere here. Uh, Scan it. Check out the
Somewhere.
template. Yes, towards Juliana's side on the screen. But thank you so much for everybody joining in today. Shout out to Juliana for taking time out and having this fun chat with us and exploring some of the cool demos that we have. And also shout out to the NodeOps team, everybody who's been supporting Pratik and everybody on the team supporting in the back end help us do this smoothly today. We'll come back with another stream, another AMA with the NodeOps team, of course, on X Spaces very soon. But yes, thank you so much again. Signing off. This is Harish. Thank you, Juliana, for joining in. We will see you all soon.
Yes.